Hello and welcome to Roadwarden. If you would like to check out the game, there is a link in the description. This is an illustrated, text-based RPG that uses isometric pixel art and continues, or indeed combines, mechanics borrowed from RPGs, visual novels, adventure games, and interactive fiction. And if you want something that's a little bit more slow-paced, a little bit more, shall we say, in-depth, intriguing, exciting, then this is definitely something you want to check out. And I'm going to be doing this in a bit of a more relaxed way and kind of narrating things in a way that I might do an audiobook or something like that. So I'm obviously going to be speaking, pretty calmly, and we're going to see what happens. I'm actually booting this up for the first time. I'd like to see everything that happens at the same time that you do, and so we can experience everything together. As far as I'm aware, there is an inventory system, character sheet, skills, stats, and all that wonderful stuff. So let's see what happens. We marvel at the serenity of the forest and crave the shroud of its silence. And here we go. Let's start a new game. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Road wardens not only accept this struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one, and it pays well. I leave the safety of the safety of the city walls. Please select the difficulty mode. Alright, yeah, we're gonna go for, well, technically, there's no time limit for this one, but there are other time limits for the other game modes. I'm actually thinking we'll play on standard for the moment, and you can see here that it's for those that are familiar with RPGs. I'm pretty familiar with RPGs, but it's been a while since I've actually played a true RPG, so maybe it's gonna be a little bit tricky, but I'm interested to give it a go, and that has a 40-day time limit. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around, no stench of blood. Good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You were supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beast folk nor trolls, and the night is near. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had a long day. Alright, so we have 4 options. I could just look for another shelter. I need to look around, cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. Or I get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. I don't think we're going to have... I don't think we're going to be attacked here, but I'm going to dismount and sneak to the gate. Your heavy boots hit the ground, and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chance you'll die in combat. And we're going to approach the gate slowly. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. 2 people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a light-hearted drinking song from the city harbor. Alright, well, they don't look like much of a threat. I can enter. It takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes. His beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace with a head covered in iron hangs at his side, but he doesn't reach for it. I take a look at the second soul. Just like you, she's wearing a gambeson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are weary, yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, these two surely look the part, though there should be more of them. 8, you believe. I asked them about their lieutenant. You wonder how to phrase your question. Whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes even. Alright, so we can be friendly, be supportive and cordial, playful, use a joke or a witty comment, distanced, you can hide your emotions, intimidating, you can hint at a threat, or you can be vulnerable and be sad, tired, afraid, or helpless. Alright, or hopeless in actual fact. Alright, so I think we're probably going to be friendly. Why not? They don't seem to be aggressive. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? The woman lets out a loud sigh, dusts off her gambeson, and steps toward you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. We most definitely can, you and I, though holding this rank is still somewhat new to me. Are you a messenger? Did you lose your mount? She observes you with curiosity. Or are you looking for help? And I actually just want to see here. No, it seems like I cannot click on the highlighted text. I was actually thinking that I might be able to click on it or something like that. Anyway, I'm your new Roadwarden. My horse is waiting outside. Really? The soldier in the shirt leans forward. That explains how you got here in one piece, all by yourself. Better bring your beast here, adds the lieutenant. We have no hay, but I bet it dreams of dropping its saddle. A long pause. I'm Tulia, by the way. She reaches out her hand. I shake her hand. And now we can decide what we want to call ourselves. So we are going to be calling ourselves James. Why not? Her grasp is confident. The shake is slight. Just keep your horse away from the tents. She steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. There's this one issue. The soldier in the shirt also rises to his feet. We've no tent to spare. You'll have to use a blanket or something. Well, no problem. I enjoy observing the stars. You walk through the gate. Your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than you, but also bulky, as heavy as it is strong. You can get in the saddle within a single breath, but most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. Horses were brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquests in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you too would be lost. Alright, well, I'm going to say it's my only companion here. I want it to feel at ease. It takes a few steps toward you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Humans see useful animals and even pets as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. But you know that horses need companionship. I speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time it starts to chafe. You wish it had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Worst of all, you have no rope left, but maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions, essential for your trade. Alright, so this is where we actually get to choose our wonderful class, and it looks as though we can select between Fighter, Mage, and Scholar. And I'm actually liking Scholar right now, but let's actually just read the descriptions and see which one we actually vibe with the most. Fighter. I spent my savings on decent combat equipment. I have a fine gambeson, an axe made of steel, and a reliable crossbow with quarrels even. Mage, I have talismans that help me use my powers, as well as an iron axe and a worn gambeson. Scholar, I carry writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, a worn gambeson, and a healing potion. Writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, so I assume I can probably cure things with medicine potentially. But the mage, I have talismans that help me use my powers. I'm going to assume that the fighter will probably be much better in combat than any of the others, but I'm going to go with what I thought about, and we're going to just play with the scholar and see how it goes. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still here. Just in case, you take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife, nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. And you can open your inventory now to take a look at your belongings, and as you can see, I have some food rations, a fresh healing potion, a pouch with coins, gambeson, alchemical ingredients, travel set, writing instruments, and a simple battle axe. As you can see, most northerners are illiterate, but they are happy to meet someone who can write a letter in their name. Might be useful, right? Yeah, I'm gonna be looking forward to maybe writing a letter for someone. Who knows? Maybe it's gonna be useful. Anyway, from time to time, your routine helps you to avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. Just recapping before we move on. And taking hits will damage your armor. You can then fix it in various settlements. As you can see, my armor is currently 2 out of 4, and it will stop lighter attacks, but not for long. I return to the soldiers. They're at the table again, observing your beast and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of wooden bowls. One more bowl was put at a previously unused end of the table. You can sit down on a tree log. Alright, well, I'm going to say I join them and take a look at the meal. It's cold gruel, the meal eaten in times of hardship. This specific bowl is filled with water, hog millet, some strange-looking cereals, and blueberries. Welcoming you with a meal, even a humble one, is beyond their duty. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their group as they face dozens of hideous creatures. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. Roadwardens, on the other hand, learn how to work by themselves. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same roads for years. They help the settlements stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships. When there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles. I eat quickly, not focusing on the taste, then speak with Tulia. Keeping your stomach full will make you stronger. Starvation won't allow you to restore vitality while resting, and you can find supplies in your inventory. Alright, so we also have to take into account nourishment, and so at the moment, we're not experiencing any penalties or bonuses. She's focused and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I'm afraid I can tell you less than I would like to, and less than I should. She nods toward the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead, and 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, adds her companion. Any piece of information may help me do my job. The man leans forward. His legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick, whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the officials tell you? I expect not that much. No soul governs these lands. Well, we can decide I share what I consider to be relevant. We can decide to do that, or we can say, what I've discussed with the officials should stay between me and them. I don't think that we need to be that hostile. Let's say I share what I consider to be relevant. You tell the soldiers how little guidance you've received, since this area is too far away from Hovleven to keep it under control. You were warned that it's untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villagers, bandits, or monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance, we'll say. The lieutenant drinks from her cup and crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. Where should we start? Alright, so we have a huge amount of questions to ask here. What should I know about the peninsula? Any ideas what happened to the previous Roadwarden? I've lost my rope, could you spare one? What happened to your squad? Tulia, how did you become a lieutenant? What was your squad's mission? Anything I should know about this camp? And if you were me, where would you go next? Alright, I'm not sure if I need to actually select something carefully here. I don't know whether there is a limit to how many questions I can ask, but I'm going to say, I've lost my rope, could you spare one? You're in luck. She heads toward one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down on her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind. I take a closer look. And there we go. A regular rope made of hemp fibers. Buy it, or I take it and offer some food in return. Technically, I can do that. I'm going to say I take it and offer some food in return. Tulia leans forward and rests her forearms on her thighs, looking down with clasped hands, then meets your eyes. I'd normally refuse, but we need some decent food. Every day I'm searching through our groats, looking for worms and putridity. We forage, but it's not a great spot. Some food rations will brighten up a foggy day. For now, you leave the rope on the table. And we have now traded the rope for a food ration. In my opinion, that was a good thing to do. I mean, generally, a kind thing to do. It wasn't necessary, that's for sure. She was willing to give it to us for free, but let's face it, we're all in this kind of together, I guess, and it's kind of nice to be a bit supportive, considering. Anyway, let's see here. I'm going to assume... Okay, I'm going to say, what happened to your squad? The man shrugs. Bandits happened, and monsters. A strong band, though, his companion chips in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we would all have died that day. The innkeeper explained the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretend to be soldiers. Stay there at night, lose everything you have. Sounds like slave hunters. Tulia sighs. Very much so. They killed some and took others away, who knows where. They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear their entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of our people died. Don't exaggerate, it's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them and take over their camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road, saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well. Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader, and they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a treant. Another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of a ritual hunt, so a werebear tore her to pieces. The last one tried to act tough, didn't tell us that he had cut his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She lets out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north, find a new life, disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. You've made this place safer. I'm going to say that. Barely. Tulia seems tired. And who knows if it was worth the lives and effort. Alright, let's see. What was your squad's mission? I think I'd probably like to know that. The lieutenant looks into your eyes. You know, the usual. Making the road safe, keeping people alive. I explain that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. I can't really tell you. Let's just say it would be nice to have a reliable outpost somewhere nearby, a place where you can always find a group of fighters willing to protect you in the name of the law. She tilts her head back. Now, if you have any other questions... Alright, okay, so maybe she didn't actually want to divulge all of the information that was potentially, available here. Maybe she decided to keep something a bit closer to her chest there. Anyway, I'm going to say, if you were me, where would you go next? The soldier answers quickly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest from here. If you can't afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more traveled, mentions Tulia. But the hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen and know as many souls. Any tips on how I can make a good first impression on him? She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes, stick to trade, don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on. Alright. That sounds pretty good to me. I don't think oh, actually, wait a minute. I apparently... okay. They're giving me a good idea here. So basically, I need to ask them what happened to the previous Roadwarden. I'm going to assume they died, whoever it was, and ask them about the peninsula. Okay, so I'm going to say, what should I know about the peninsula? I'll tell you what I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I'd guess it would be 3-4 days. When you confirm, she continues. From here, you can reach the coast in about a day, as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get here? You nod. The sea route allows Hovlavon officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages. Collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools. But maintaining order on a wild coast, such as this one, is like filling the ocean depths with coins. Because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore, and boats can't get much closer. She nods. I don't know much about fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with the city folk. As she pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to the camp, but when we travelled to the roadside inn, Pell to the north, they're happy to trade, and to play dice. Why not just stay at one of the settlements? The man clears his throat. I mean, we're to guard this road. This camp is our post, and, well... He turns toward Tulia. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, James, but are you a devout soul? Ooh, okay, wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay, let's have a look at the various options. Like most city folk, I believe that people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. I am a part of the United Church. Or, for many years, I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of an order of truth. Or, I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of shell, noima, and soul are the main virtues of life. My community is unique and independent, and so are its members. I have a place in my fellowship. Or, I have a strong connection to nature and spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan. Or, there's no evidence of the rite's existence, and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. And you can say, no, I'm not. Alright, I'm actually thinking... I'm kind of liking herbalism right now. I'm kind of liking herbalism, spiritual growth, artistry, magical research, and so on and so forth, because, let's face it, we are maybe kind of like an alchemist kind of person, so I'm thinking that might actually be kind of useful. So I'm going to do that. Oh, I see. She hesitantly looks away. I don't know much about that river of faith, but I'm sure we're not that different. I'm a Unite myself, she says with a sort of pride in her voice. so she follows the United Church. Maybe just explain what you were thinking of. The people here are disquieting. Every few words, she taps the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials. Here, she starts to draw lines with her index finger as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an eremite. You nod. She means a fellowship. They do crazy shit. Her companion chips in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there. I see. You've heard tales such as this one since you were a child. If an isolated settlement manages to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages, the bringers of doom, the traitors to humankind. All right, so I'm gonna ask, were you able to speak with these necromancers? You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it, the lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a Roadwarden. The roads are dangerous with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first, and soon. Tulia nods. Pelt of the North is a safe place. You can talk with the innkeep or the guards. Ask them about the road. Well, any monster worth mentioning? And he pointed to the northwest. Okay, I should probably remember that we need to go to the northwest potentially. Any monster worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? We saw all sorts of beasts. The man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants, cats large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars, mouflon eaters, griffins, but we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts. Tulia glances at her companion. Though a palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting amongst themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke 'em, and ride fast. Just count on luck. And I'm going to ask about the east as well. She stares off across the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. That's all I need to know. She nods. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. Alright, I'm going to ask what happened to the previous Roadwarden. I think we really know what happened to the previous lieutenant. I mean, let's face it, probably dead, right? Anyway, any ideas what happened to the previous Roadwarden? Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him for almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife, without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave at dawn. Unlike us, Asterion never gets bored. Tulia lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not, we say. If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement. The man carves with a passion. We haven't seen him or his saurian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer Roadwardens often use four-legged meat-eating saurians as their mounts. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching. but unlike horses, can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable, and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message, we say. Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, says Tulia. My predecessor left me no clues. We also took a look at Asterian's stuff. Wait, she raises her open palm. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads to a nearby tent. He has kids in a village near Hovleven. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, second spear, a decent bow, some potions. Quite a treasure, she glances at you. But I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff, we say. Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned and you know nothing about her, she either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come tell us. See us. Tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to Hovleven together? You think about your real mission. You were planning to return to Hovleven in the early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all of his possessions, we say. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'd begrudge you anything. And who knows, you may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear mostly, maybe 5 feet tall but stout. Long red beard, short hair, pale face, rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. So find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left? Just let me know. Interesting. So now we can actually access our journal and we can take a look and see what's going on here. So find the Roadwarden, and as you can see, it has our objective. Before I became the Roadwarden of this peninsula, a man known as Asterian used to patrol these roads. If I manage to find out what happened to him and bring the news to Tulia from the southern camp, I'll receive his abandoned belongings. Interesting. And we have information about all of the various people here as well. So if we are going to be encountering, for example, the innkeep, then it's going to be a really good idea to have some information on him. So you can see here, this guy prefers to stick to trade, doesn't like to waste time on jokes and empty gestures. And we know about Tulia a little bit as well. All right. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Very good. Okay. I have everything I need. Are you sure? Says the bearded man. We may not be around the next time you come here. Well, we should prepare for the night anyway. I agree, Tulia sighs with relief. And may you do better than Asterian did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. Thank you for your help. And you can open the archive to reread the most recent text if you so desire. One more thing if I can. The bearded man approaches you. Can you take the first watch? Splitting time between 3 people makes a great difference. You think for a moment. To fully rest, you'd need a good sleep. Well, I'm going to say sure and leave it to me. Fabulous. He pats your shoulder. It should be calm, at least before midnight. Wake me up in a few hours, or even earlier if anything happens. I smile. I'm happy to do my part. You go to the barrel and splash water on your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. And you now have another stat to take care of, appearance. And so at the moment, we have 2 out of 5, and you won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. Stay tidy to have a better chance to influence others. So that is something to take into account as well. Alright, I think that's probably going to be it for this episode of Roadwarden. If you would like to check out the game, there is a link in the description. And if you would like to see more of this from me, then by all means let me know by liking the video and putting a comment down below. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.